It's already week 5 and time to make those tough stardom, sit-em decisions. And for that, we bring in Sports Illustrated's senior fantasy analyst, the original start-sit guru, Michael Fabiano. Okay, Fabs, this position, tight end, it's so tricky every week deciding who to start. But there is one guy that really seems like he's in a smash spot this week.
Yeah, and that's Mike Gesicki. And I've been dead wrong about Gesicki the last couple of weeks. He's put up great numbers ever since Jacoby Brissett took over as the quarterback there in Miami. And the matchup is really good. I mean, the Buccaneers defense, it's solid against the run. Against the pass, not so much. They've allowed the third most points to tight ends. Their defensive backfield is an absolute mess of injuries right now. So as long as Jacoby Brissett is the starting quarterback in Miami, Mike Gesicki looks like a pretty good option for fantasy managers. And then Dalton Schultz. How about them Cowboys? He's been one of the hottest tight ends in fantasy football. He's tied for 4th in points over the last 2 weeks. He saw a 36% target share last week. I mean, Jen, that's just bananas. He's got a good matchup against the Giants. They've given up 4 touchdowns and the 5th most fantasy points to tight ends. So get Dalton Schultz into your lineup, folks. This is where we're at right now. He has emerged as one of the top tight ends in fantasy football, at least at this point in time.
Yeah, Dalton Schultz actually the tight end 4 so far on the season, and last I checked, he was available in 66% of fantasy leagues. So be sure you put your waiver claims in for Dalton Schultz. You also like the tight end on the other side of this game, Evan Ingram, as well as Noah Fant. But who do you say we definitely should leave on our bench this Sunday?
Robert Tonyan was among my fantasy busts for this year. Why? Because he had 11 touchdowns on 52 catches. That just is not going to happen. And so far, he's had one good game. Now, Aaron Rodgers did overthrow him in the end zone last week. Could have had a touchdown. It didn't happen. Here's the problem. You've got a bad matchup against the Bengals. Yes, that's right. The Bengals have actually been very tough on tight ends dating back to last season. For 2021, they've only given up 1 touchdown and the 6th fewest fantasy points to the position. And Tonyan is so touchdown dependent at this point that you can't really trust him when the matchup is not favorable. And based on the numbers, this week's matchup is certainly not favorable. And then I'm benching Jared Cook. Now he's coming off a big game against the Raiders in a revenge contest, right? But now he's got the Browns. And I would not chase the points. Their defense has been tough on tight ends. They've allowed just 1 tight end to score more than 5.8 fantasy points in a game against them this year. And that tight end was Travis Kelce. He's pretty good. So don't chase the points unless you're desperate. I would bench Jared Cook.
The tight end position is so difficult unless you have one of those big 3 and you can lock and load it. So be sure that you check every week for Michael Fabiano's start sits at the tight end position. You can find them at sa.com/fantasy.